Hey everyone, welcome to Dead Game News. Sort of. I was originally planning to have another normal episode, but nope, everything's changing instead. The trigger for all this is this channel is getting unpartnered from YouTube on the 20th due to not enough views. So that means I'll lose any features that has, and I'll have reduced visibility on YouTube. Now that's not the end of the world, yet, because who knows what YouTube is going to do in the future, but this is serving as a catalyst for some changes that were brewing anyway. I will explain everything. First up is what's happening to this channel now. Well, like the title says, it's mutating. Having done Dead Game News for a little while, I have two main criticisms about it I was never able to work out. The first is I'm not the best person to be reporting the news. I have too many other projects I'm working on that I care about more. I really do care about games not being killed, but this has always been a second-rate job. The other criticism is these videos can get kind of dry compared to my usual fare. That's because I'm reporting similar stories over and over again, and my thoughts don't change much on them. In almost every case, I think killing games is an entirely preventable situation. The companies aren't conducting business responsibly, and frankly, I think the practice of a company taking your money for a game, then intentionally making that game unplayable forever, should be illegal. Maybe not retroactively illegal, since it can be really hard to fix things after the fact, but something should be done to try to wind this practice down. But that's not what's happening. If anything, it's accelerating in the opposite direction. So there's still a need for people to recognize what's happening so we can try to affect the future. So with that said, the first mutation of Dead Game News is it's more or less going to be ending in its current form on this channel. Instead, what's going to happen is I'm going to migrate it over to my main channel, Accursed Farms. But the format is going to be different. Instead of reporting on every major game shutdown or resurrection, I'm going to wait until ones come along that I think are really worthy of mention in a larger context. So I'll have less to report, but I'll have a lot more to say on the ones I do cover, and hopefully frame things as part of a bigger picture. That's really more my style anyway. I don't know what's going on from day to day. The stock market went up and down, some celebrity yelled at their girlfriend, I don't know. So this may be the last video on this channel, unless I have some small update later. I don't know, this is the last planned video on this channel. Go to Accursed Farms for future Dead Game News reports. But wait, there's more. There's a lot more. I'm gonna make a chart. During my time working on Dead Game News, two people in particular have really stepped up to help me out. One wishes to remain completely anonymous, so that's Mr. X. You won't be hearing from him. The other has been Jesse Robert Cox, who wishes to emphasize again he is not the other YouTuber Jesse Cox. I mean, he seems okay too, but I don't think he's doing anything to stop games from being killed. Now Jesse is really taking the initiative on this. He says if I'm not covering Dead Game News, then he is. So more power to him. I'm linking to his channel in the description. So that's the next mutation. If you want more hard facts and a fuller picture of all the games that are being killed, go to him. If you want more color commentary and how this might connect to larger trends, then come to me. Now he is looking for video editing assistance. So if you want to help on that front, contact deadgamenews@gmail.com. He has access to that too. In fact, I would probably turn this channel over to him completely if I could, but I don't know how to do that without giving him access to my other channel also, so instead, this may just have to stay standing as some sort of virtual monument. The thing with Dead Game News is I have no competitors. That's because I'm not competing. My goal isn't to be the #1 person talking about this. My goal is to stop games from being killed. So the more people that talk about this topic and get it permeated into the consciousness of gamers, the better. Okay, more mutations. Next up, JC has also been running the Twitter for Dead Game News. So if you want something resembling the frequency of actual news, this is your best bet. He's done a lot of reporting on it so far. And the final mutation of Dead Game News is a project that's coming at some point in the future. After I get my own website fixed, because it needs fixing, I intend to use the same codebase to create another site that documents every dead game being killed that we can find. It will be a little like Wikipedia where anyone can contribute, although I hope to have it presented more like Steam with screenshots, trailers, and gameplay videos from YouTube so people can really get a taste of what was being killed. We can have any information on games that have been resurrected, Also, I want to have an at-risk section. So any games running today that are one server switch away from being permanently shut down can make the list also. I think that will drive home to some people how widespread this problem is becoming. Now this site is going to serve two purposes. One is just general awareness, so gamers start recognizing this as a fundamental problem with modern games. The second is I want this to act as a cheat sheet for any future litigators. See, my really long-term plan is after I get all this stuff up, I'm going to reach out to preservation groups, consumer rights groups, and really just anyone with a legal background who might be able to do something about this. For example, I've learned in some countries, unless there's a monthly fee involved, games are considered products. The end. That means if the company makes your product useless, you're entitled to a refund. Now that in itself might not do much because most people will forget to act on it, but if we have an easy to access site showing how a company kills games over and over again and how making products that you pay for unusable is their core business model, maybe they can get hit with some sort of fine by a regulatory board and keep getting hit with those fines as long as they keep doing this. It's obvious many large companies are not going to stop killing games. So I think the only option left is to use the law against them, where some of this is technically illegal, but just hasn't been enforced. I think there's hope for this approach in many countries. Now, the USA is probably a lost cause. I'm not sure there's anything in US consumer law to protect buyers against this, but if a company is getting fined over and over in international markets, then they may just decide it's worth a tiny bit of effort to have an end-of-life plan for their game. Games being killed are easy to fix while the game is still in the design phase. It's only after it's developed that it can become a nightmare. Right now, publishers doing this have no financial incentive to keep their games alive, and they're not facing any legal consequences for shutting down games that consumers have paid money for. That's what needs to change. And because this myth keeps persisting, some of you out there may think there's nothing we can do because they cover themselves in their end-user license agreements. Guys, those are not legal documents. They have absolutely no influence on the laws of the country the publisher is selling in. The only thing that matters is what the regional law says. Now, this part of the plan is easily months out. But if you like the sound of this, you don't have to wait on me. I don't even want to be doing this. I'd rather be making videos about space burgers. But for me, this is sort of like a hole in your roof that's gotten so bad you can't ignore it anymore. So those are my plans for the future. No real dead game news this time since I guess I'm killing this channel. Check the chart for where you want to go. More dead game news coming from me on my main channel. Bye!